I just wanted to talk a little bit today about my son just did a, I call it career day, but that's not really what it is. Like the parents didn't go in and say, "Hi, I'm a lawyer. I'm an astronaut. I'm a pig farmer." I don't know. Whatever. This was, everyone at the school had to dress up like something that they wanted to be when they grow up. And I think it's a really cute idea, especially since my kid's in kindergarten and he wants to be a builder, which I find fabulously hilarious because we have a house full of blocks and Legos and Mega Blocks and, um, those red and green and blue and yellow. They look like bricks, but they're just like cardboardy things. If you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, you're lucky you don't because they make a giant mess. Anyway, house full of all different kinds of blocks, all different kinds of building things. He has a tool, like a tool sets and I don't know, hardware stuff, everything that kids would use to build things. And he doesn't build with them. He doesn't do anything with them. And I should probably just donate them out to people. But they're there in case he decides, and every once in a while he brings them out. What he really likes to do is dance and color. And a couple of weeks ago, he said something about he wants to be a music teacher and an art teacher. And I was like, okay, that's great. Coincidentally, I helped raise two of my goddaughters, and one of them grew up to go into graphic arts, and the other one was going to school to be a music teacher. So apparently that's just a thing in my life. Anyway, but whenever you ask him what he wants to be, he says he wants to be a builder. I don't know why. I don't know. He doesn't even watch Bob the Builder. Like everyone's like, oh, like Bob the Builder. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. He watches way more things about like being in outer space. And he's a geek, like his mama. And he draws pictures of, he loves monsters and zombies and vampires and crazies. And like he'll probably grow up to be a ghost hunter. Like that's probably what he's going to grow up to be. He's going to be like on TV. And he's going to draw pictures. I don't know what he's going to do. The point is, I'm way on a tangent here. The point is that everybody had to dress up as something they wanted to be when they grow up. And clearly, he does not know what he wants to be when he grows up. He knows what he thinks he wants to be or thinks he should be or thinks is a thing that he could be. Everyone in his grade were like veterinarians and teachers, or they were what their parents were. Like one kid was a scientist, one kid was a salesman. There were a lot of, like one kid's family owns a candy store, so he wants to be a candy maker. All I could picture was like Willy Wonka. But like everybody just kind of picked what they knew to be. Like one girl was a police officer, what they knew to be things. And then you looked at the older kids, like the 7th graders, and all the boys were wearing like team jerseys of some sort. They wanted to be basketball players or football players or baseball players. I didn't really notice what the girls, the older, I mean, not that I spent a lot of time looking at the older girls, but when I did walk through the halls, I didn't really notice anything specific about them. I think a lot of them were just wearing college sweatshirts or something along that line, saying like they knew they wanted to go to college. I don't really know. The point is that at that age, clearly they don't know what they want to be. And it's ridiculous to think that they could possibly understand. That's what I think it really comes down to. They could possibly understand that they do know what they want to be, or have an inkling that what they want to be is a thing. So when I was in high school and college, I was a theater geek and I did TV production. I didn't want to be an actress. I didn't want to like go to Hollywood. I didn't want to be famous, but I liked the creative ends of like making videos and doing that kind of stuff. But I didn't particularly want to work in TV. I thought maybe documentary worker, but I also like the idea of like talking and teaching but random things. Like I liked, they offered a theology class and psychology classes and history classes and just all this stuff that I'm like, what am I ever going to do? Like there's not a thing. This isn't a thing. Maybe I can grow up and do documentaries but then it's like you have to go to film school to learn how to do all that kind of stuff. And you're kind of left not learning the stuff you need to be making the films about. And it gets very complicated. Flash forward 20 years, here I am making documentaries. That's basically what these little videos are about anything I want to. And I can make money off of this. Hopefully you'll like and share and everybody and I will make some money off of it. Haha, just throwing that out there. But the point is, I put on some events in my area because I always liked events. I worked in events most of my life. But when I talk about all these things that I want to be, it's like, well, what do you want to be? And it's like, well, even now, like I don't have a name for what I want to be. I just know what I want to do. I'm at that point that I've been figuring this out for 20 years, and I want to be exactly what I wanted to be when I was 20 years old. I just hadn't have a name for it, and I still don't have a name for it. But I know what I'm doing now, so that's something. And I think that there's a lot of people out there who don't know what they want to be because they think of the cliches, doctors, lawyers, teachers, bus drivers, whatever it is. And, computer programming guru, hacker, whatever. And somebody once said, the best way to figure out what you're going to be is to find a niche that needs to be, the best way to figure out how to make money is to find a niche of something that needs to be done. And I think of that when I think of all my time doing events and how there's entire companies out there whose job it is to do porta potties. Like that's a real thing. And you don't think like, hey, when I grow up, I'm going to deliver toilets to people so they can go to the bathroom at a festival. But it's a thing. And it's part of the whole grand scheme of event coordinating. It is. It's intense, putting up tents. I have friends who put up tents for years. That's what they did. And they liked the outdoors. They liked, they liked the schedules. They liked what have you. It worked with them. And I think there's so much out there that people don't know are things. And that they really have to stop thinking about what they want to be when they grow up and start thinking about things that they like to do and possibly how they could make money doing this, things that they're good at doing, and possibly how they can make money doing those things. I have a friend I went to like grade school, middle school, up and whatever with, who have video games. Now, he's like written up in like video game magazines and things, and that's just what he became, like a video game programmer. And that's a thing. There's video game testers that you could be a job doing video game testing. But people are like, no, I don't want to. It's like, but do you not want to do that because you really don't want to do that? And you're like, I don't want to play video games. I don't want to play. Or do you not want to do that because you don't feel like it's a real job? I feel like people are obsessed with the title of whatever their job is supposed to be. Like, I'm the director, executive, incorporated, blah, blah. The Noble Foundation, whatever. And instead of saying, look, I like to help people, or I like to work with computers, or I like to work with animals. Like, you like to work with animals, great. That doesn't mean you have to be a vet. You can be a trainer. You can a breeder. You can a dog walker, which I know doesn't sound like it's going to make you a lot of money, but there are like pet center services that are out there that do this all the time. Same thing with childcare and anything else. And these are just things that, again, are basic stuff that you think, oh, you can work with kids. Oh, you can work with animals. Oh, you can work with this. But there's so many industries out there that you don't even know are things until you really start to think about what you are good at, what you like to do, and how you want to incorporate that into your life. And in today's society, things are so much different than they were when 20 years ago, even with the internet. I mean, there's so many things that you can do sitting from home that you could not do before. There are so many more business opportunities that weren't there 20 years ago that are there now. And I think there was one little boy and I loved it because there was one little boy and it wasn't in his class. I didn't know who he was. He was posted online. He dressed as Spider-Man. I was like, oh, good. You want to be Spider-Man when you grow up. And it's like, people just laugh at it, but there's something about that he truly believes, like, I'm going to be Spider-Man when I grow up. And it's like, well, do you want to be a crime fighter? Do you want to be a policeman? Nope, I want to be Spider-Man. Whatever that is. Maybe he wants to take pictures for the newspaper while he's at it. I don't know what it is about Spider-Man, but that's what he wants to do. And I think that we need to remember those things that we wanted to be when we were little. And I think we need to think about the skills that we've accrued over our lifetime because they were things that we were interested in. So, I mean, I know people who work with, like I've mentioned before, woodworkers. I don't know why, but I have a friend who I used to work with in like an office, and she loved to just build things. And I'm like, why are you here? Like, start a company and just build whatever you want. Build decorations or furniture. Nobody does this stuff anymore. And I think that's one of the problems with the economy right now, is that everything like comes from China, and it just is, and nobody builds things here anymore. I mean, thank God Etsy and stuff is coming back. I love to shop on Etsy. I love to buy personalized things. I go to craft shows and independent retailers all the time, because those are people who are doing what they love to do, and they want to make a living out of it. And I feel like we've kind of gotten away from what the American dream was by saying, like, you have to grow up, you have to go to college, you have to get a job. It's like, okay, but what is it that I want to study at 18 years old that's going to give me a career? And most of the people, I'm telling you, most people I know that went to college are not doing anything that has to do with their college degree. I know someone who works in computers who went to criminal justice. I know somebody who started off going to accounting and ended up going to law school. I know somebody else who went into communications and ends up working in IT. Like, nobody does what they went to college for. It's actually ridiculous that we spend tens of thousands of dollars to go to college to get a job that we learned probably taking a couple of courses online. Like, that's what it comes down to. Or a night class, something like that. So instead of putting our time and energy into deciding what we want to be and how we're going to make money and what career path we should take, we should start spending the time saying, what do we enjoy doing? What am I good at doing? Ask your friends, ask your family. Be like, don't ask them, what do you think I should be when I grow up? Because then they'll be like, oh, well, you're good with animals. You can be a veterinarian. It's like, well, that's not what I'm asking. But say, like, what characteristics specifically do you think of that I'm good at, that I have, that would be beneficial for me? So, like, Maybe you're really not good under pressure, so there are certain jobs that you should do that are good under pressure, but maybe you're really compassionate. So that's something you should take into account. And maybe you're great with certain animals, but not all animals. And maybe you're good at organizing. And maybe I'm like, when I ask people, it was always like, you are full of like useless knowledge. You're very matter of fact about things, and you're really compassionate and want to help people. Like, okay, thanks. And when you put this together with my love for video editing, which I have to get better at right now, I'm a single mom with very little time and resources, so this is where I'm going. But with this YouTube channel, but it's like, yeah, this is what I do. I talk to you about things that I have studied over the years, things that I have noticed over the years of, 20 years of taking different types of psychology classes and sociology classes and philosophy classes and reading books and studying and learning and just being a person who likes to learn about people. And this is what I've learned, and this is hopefully going to help somebody. So if this does sound good to you and you do like what I'm saying, please like and share. And obviously there'll be more tips in the future. Thank you.